Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am ℙ𝕣𝕠𝕕𝕦 and I am the Eclectic Herbalist. So, as you can see, I am in a new spot. Hopefully this is the spot I'm staying in. I redecorated it and everything for YouTube videos background because I just was unhappy with the background I had. But anyways, I digress. In today's video, I will be talking about quitting my job that I had for the last almost 4 years and why. And then if you are under the age of 18, I will be talking about adult content in today's video. My videos are set for 18 or above anyways, but if you somehow found this, please go ahead and shoot. So, as the title suggests, I have quit my job. I did this in order to start my own business, but there was like a very long story behind why I have been wanting to quit my job for probably the last 9 months. Like in most jobs and companies, it wasn't the job itself, it was definitely management. So I won't really get into exactly what all went on, but I will say it started giving me depression and other mental issues, and I did start slacking off in a lot of aspects of it because I honestly stopped caring. But that was definitely when I started just getting tired of the job. I do want to start off with saying I have been a stay-at-home mom and I have been a working mom, and then just due to COVID I have been a working mom that stays home. And in my experience, I would say staying home and working for a company that is not my own, one where I have to be attentive and respond to chats or emails, or I have to watch things to call out for within a timely manner, that was hard to do when I had children at the house because I live in Nevada and we had distance learning for a good majority of the year, so my kids were home. When my company finally sent us home was around the time school was starting, so at the time it was convenient because my husband had started getting more work at his job, so he was going to be out of the house more, so we would have needed someone here with the kids. So at the time it sounded like a grand idea, but when my kids had lunch, I did not have lunch, and I could pick when I wanted lunch, but when you have other people who also have to go to lunch or break, or depending on what time in the day I started, depending on what time in the day, I really would take my lunch. So it did get hard when, say, my children were on lunch and they wanted to eat and I wasn't on lunch yet, or I had just gotten back from my break, or I had just gotten off lunch, so I couldn't just get up and go make them things. And for me, near the end, before I ended up quitting, my schedule turned from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So my lunch wasn't really a lunch, it was really a breakfast, and then my kids had a lunch. So I would try and make them things and put it in the fridge for them to grab, but you know, they don't want that or it'd turn into a fit. So that would be an issue, and then it became another issue where I'd be on conference calls and my toddler, who does not like being dirty but manages to get off her diaper and accidentally step in poo, has to come show it to me while I'm on a serious call. So it became very stressful and a lot of things got missed on my end. I was letting a lot of things slip, so I obviously was getting talked to a lot more, but at some point I honestly stopped caring even about getting talked to. I want to live in a forest, I want to live away from people, and I want to have a yurt, have a farm, have farm animals, and I can't do that here. And going to work every day at the ass crack of dawn, it was just tedious, and really every day it just became harder and harder for me to just want to be at work, but I knew I had to be at work because I have to make money and I have a family. And like, people will tell you that when you say, you know, I'm tired of my job, I want to quit. Well, don't quit unless you have another job lined up. You can't quit, you have a family. But like, I understand that, but there comes a point where it's either my mental health or a job, and I chose my mental health. I couldn't work there anymore. So, at the beginning of this year, near the end of last year, around December, the end of December, when I had time to meditate and do all of my ritual stuff, I sat down. I really meditated on it. I sat down, I thought, and I asked for a sign, any sort of sign, if I should quit my job and start a business. And around this particular time was when I had started my Herbal Academy and looking into herbalism and getting the Apothecary at Home boxes and really just falling in love with herbalism as a whole. So it wasn't, should I quit my job and start an herbalism business? It was more so, should I quit my job and start something? And I said a big yes or a big fat no would be mint. So I did that and kind of forgot about it, and a few weeks later, I would say, we had a company meeting. So my friend messaged me and asked me if I was able to catch the meeting, and I explained to her that I was in it, just couldn't hear. So she said, oh, well, I worked for a call center, and we had campaigns, and I'm not going to say the name of the company because while working there I learned that this company was actually very petty, but I will just maybe call it Cusco, I guess, which is not really very stealth. But she told me, you know, well, the meeting was about Cusco closing March 28th, and this was near the end or middle of January. So at the time, I didn't really think of it as being my sign until I had missed the first transfer interview. So the campaign was closing, but the company wasn't firing anyone unless they saw fit. And to be honest, I had, at this point, was on like a final because I've just been fucking off with work. I didn't care. So I don't like being on the phones. I was on the phones for 6 months before I got promoted to my current position, or my then current position, I should say, because I just don't like being on the phone. So last year I had spoke to my manager and said, look, you know, I can't do this anymore. Is there a way that I could be transferred to a different campaign? And he said, there is no way for me to be transferred, but I can be sat down. And I said, no, I'm not going to be sat down. I'm just going to look for another job, which I didn't do. I just, there's nothing else I want to do besides work for myself. Like, all jobs just seem tedious and boring and pointless. I really only had one other thing lined up, and even that was kind of a toss-up because they aren't hiring for that position. So when I found out that the company was closing, I told my husband, and he did ask, please at least go to the transfer meeting so that way you can be transferred if they can place you. And then I ended up missing it by accident, which like seems like it wasn't an accident, but I thought it was on the 18th, and I guess it was on the 16th or 15th or something. I don't know. I just mixed up the days. So I missed that, and when I missed that, I had kind of been like, oh yeah, that's right, I had asked for a sign like this, and this is it. So I sat down with my husband again and spoke with him, and he said, okay, you don't have to continue with the company, but please put your resume in and applications in elsewhere. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And I sat on that for like 2 days, but then I went back to him and said, you know, I just don't want to work. Not that I don't want to work, I just don't want to work for somebody else. I told him I've been studying herbalism and I really enjoy making things, and it's actually fun to me. I did sewing. I tried doing sewing before, but sewing is so boring. It's just mind-numbingly boring. So that just didn't last long, but it's just boring, and I couldn't fathom doing that for a long time. But herbalism, I actually enjoy making things, even if I have to wait a few weeks for things to actually be done and test them out, it's still really fun just to make a whole bunch of stuff. So around this time, we had talked about it again, and around this time we had realized that we were getting that third stimulus check, and that lined up with tax returns that we'd be able to pay a few months worth of rent and have enough left over for bills, so that way I can take a few months to focus on starting the business up and focus on YouTube, because he is supportive of me doing YouTube, and also focus on the 18+ content part of my life, which is OnlyFans.
As an accountant,
I do have that, so right now, in all honesty, OnlyFans is my main source of income that I'm bringing in, because I do make a bit of money on it. I'm not one of those cool TikTokers that was like, oh, I did it for a week and made 15 grand. I didn't make even 1,000 in my first month, but I made enough to purchase furniture. I was able to get my new tattoo. So it is by no means a flop, but I do have to work on it, and I do have to promote myself on other platforms. So if you happen to see me on other websites, that is why. So yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that, but if you are from there, this should explain why I'm constantly busy and why I go a few days without posting. But he is also supportive of that. He knows I do that. It isn't something I do behind the scenes or anything. So I just have more time to focus on my business, YouTube, content for OnlyFans, and also I have a book that I've been writing, so I have more time to focus on my book, which is a 4, maybe 5-part series, and I'm only like 3 chapters away from finishing the second draft of the first book, but I have like 2 more drafts left. So yeah, where was I going with that? So yeah, my husband is very supportive, so he did say that I could have my time to focus on those things and get things started. So with that, I am starting a business called ℎ𝕠𝕠𝕕𝕤 Apothecary, and it is currently on Etsy. I have the soft launch, so we're kind of like soft open a little bit with just labels. I am trying to figure out a hard launch date for the teas, but I am waiting for feedback on a few tea blends that I did make, because I only currently have one, because tea without honey is black to me, and I know a lot of people don't always drink honey in their tea. They're fine with it being how it is. So since it's just always kind of blah to me, I needed another set of taste buds to try. I do have my husband and my kids try the safe teas that I make for them, but my husband tries a lot of my teas, so that helps. They seem to enjoy them. So I will announce what date the hard launch will be, but I will definitely be starting a new series for me starting the business. Since I definitely just recently started, you guys will kind of see from the ground up, and I do hope to explain everything for people who want to start a business but definitely don't have funds. I do also want to put more focus and work into my witchcraft series and my herbalism series, because that's what my page is about. I have a lot of ideas, but they're just videos I want to take time with, and with my job I didn't have that time to sit down and write things out, make bullet points, things like that, and my editing would really just be early in the morning when nothing was going on at my job, and then during kind of quiet time in the afternoon. So I want to spend more time having time to edit, having time to plan for videos, as well as, like I said, have time for my book writing. I have time to wake up in the morning and meditate and do yoga and work out. Having a job take out so much of your day is exhausting, so I now have time. So I do hope to push out more videos, more informative videos, and more better quality videos. Other than that, that's what's been going on. That's why I haven't been posting too frequently the last 2 weeks. Been quite busy getting inventory, getting like a schedule designed for not working at a job, and then also I have been taking my mother to the doctors a bit all last week. So if you are interested in following in that journey with me, or you are interested in herbalism or witchiness, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you have not already. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!